Good day students, I am Dr. Smita Sharma and today we'll continue with the chapter oscillators. So in the previous lecture we had discussed self-excited oscillations, the necessary condition that is required for self-excited oscillation, and in that we had seen that if we have three reactive elements as a feedback circuit, then in case of L and C, for reactive elements to be either L or C, it is necessary that either 2L and 1C is used or 2C or 1L is used. So we'll be using this in our actual oscillators, that is when we'll discuss Hartley and Colpett oscillator. So we'll start with LC tunable oscillators. So LC tunable oscillators are widely used for generating high frequencies. With the practical values of inductors and capacitors, it is possible to produce frequency as high as 500 MHz. So wherever high frequency is needed, generally LC oscillators are taken up. These oscillators are used in RF generators, radio, TV receivers, RF heating, etc. All these oscillators are LC oscillators. Now we had already discussed its two types. One is the Hartley oscillator and other is the Colpett oscillator. So today we'll be discussing Hartley oscillator in detail. So what is Hartley oscillator? Hartley oscillator is basically a LC oscillator where oscillations are produced in the tank circuit. Here 2L, 2 inductance coil and 1 capacitor makes a tank circuit, and where oscillations are produced and sustained. So we'll be discussing a simple Hartley oscillator circuit. So as we know, for any oscillator there are two important elements. One is the amplifier and other is the feedback network. So in Hartley oscillator, common emitter amplifier circuit is used. This amplifier introduces phase difference of 180 degree between input and output, as we know for the common emitter amplifier. We will first see the circuit. See, this is the circuit. So here this is common emitter amplifier configuration. Here you can see the power supply. Along with the power supply there are two resistors connected, R1 and R2, and with R1 and R2, RE and CE are connected in parallel combination. Also it is seen that there is one more capacitor in the input which is written CB, and here we have a tank circuit where two inductance coil are seen and one variable capacitor is seen. So this is basic Hartley oscillator. Now what does these R1, R2, RE, CE do? We'll be discussing one by one. So first of all we'll see resistances R1, R2, RE and power supply VCC decide the DC operating point. We know for an amplifier decision of an operating point for its good working is very necessary. So these four decides the DC operating point, suitable DC operating point for the amplifier. For amplification, stabilized self-biasing is given by parallel combination of R1, R2 and RE/CE. So all these resistors and capacitors are used to find a suitable operating point and to give it self-biasing. C also works as a bypass capacitor. At operating point its impedance is considered very small, it is almost negligible. Then we had in the input we had one more capacitor which we had named CB. This CB is a blocking capacitor. It blocks DC flow from the collector so that it may not damage the transistor. Next, in the tank circuit we have a capacitor C and inductance L. This inductance is joint combination of the two inductance coil L1 and L2 and their mutual inductance is, if a mutual inductance is M, then the total inductance will be L1 plus L2 plus 2M, one for each coil. These L and C form a oscillating circuit where oscillations are produced, which are changed into electrical oscillations of fixed amplitude by the amplifier. So this is the general circuit of the Hartley oscillator. Now we know common emitter configuration gives 180 degree phase difference, and a part of this output is fed back by inductance coil L1. You can see here through inductance coil, a part of the output is again fed back into the input. The phase of the input voltage and feedback voltage at base are same, so condition for self-excitation oscillation are satisfied. They are in phase with this feedback signal is in phase with the input, so this condition is also satisfied. Now here the oscillations that will be produced will have some frequency, and that frequency depends on this C, L1, L2 and the mutual inductance between the two coils, that is M. So all these decide the frequency of the oscillator as such. Now we'll find what will be the frequency, what is the mathematical relation of finding the frequency, and what is the necessary condition that should be satisfied in order to make this oscillator work in a proper manner to give continuous and sustained oscillations. In this whole chapter we'll be discussing various type of oscillator, and for every oscillator we'll be finding mathematically two conditions. First we'll be finding the formula for frequency, that is frequency depends on which parameters, and second we'll be finding the condition, necessary condition to maintain self-sustained oscillation. Here also we'll be doing this. Now for this we'll be taking its equivalent circuit. So this is the equivalent circuit of the Hartley oscillator. See here we have taken, so first of all in the circuit it is seen that we know that this transistor can be represented in terms of H parameters in the equivalent circuit. Now for every transistor we have 4 H parameters: HIE, HRE, HFE and HOE. These are suitably drawn in this way. This complete thing represents the transistor. Along with it we have only drawn the tank circuit. Now why we have removed all these? Because basically R1, R2, RE, CE, all these are used only to obtain the suitable DC operating point. So they are not needed, or they do not take part in AC analysis. So in the equivalent circuit the values of R1, R2 and RE are very large as compared to other parameters, and CE impedance is very small. So all of these are neglected. These are neglected because they are only used in DC operating, stabilizing of the or defining an operating point. Next we'll be modifying this circuit also. Here we the value of HRE and HOE are very small, so these are also they can also be neglected, so that we get a simplified circuit. So we have further neglected these two, and finally we have obtained this type of circuit. This is GMVB is only left, and here HIE is only left. Now here we'll be taking the current Here see, here I1 is going, I2 is going here, and in this loop we have I1 minus I2, and then here I2 comes back here, it divides into 2, here I2 minus I3 goes and I3 goes here, and finally they all combine. This is the general current diagram. Now this is little bit complicated. We have rearranged the circuit, we have not moved any circuit, we have only rearranged it and kept in this form. If you compare it, these are same diagram drawn in different way. You should note here the 2 points P and G. These we will be discussing. Also in the diagram I have pointed 1 and 2. I have written here 1 and 2. These are two loops we will be taking in our analysis. So first of all we will be taking loop 1. So in loop 1, using Kirchhoff's law, we can write the Kirchhoff equation. We'll start from here with the capacitor. The capacitor, for capacitor we can write 1 upon j omega c into this current is flowing, I2 current is flowing, so 1 upon j omega c I2. Next is L1, so we can write j omega L1 I2. Along with it we can also write j omega m I1, because this is the mutual conductance on L1 due to L2. So this also we have written I1 minus I2, j omega I1 minus I2. Then next in the loop we'll be taking this L2. So here L2 we can for L2 the direction of current is changed, so we can write minus j omega L2 I1 minus I2. And for this also mutual inductance will be j omega m I2 minus I3. Here it should be noted, for this mutual inductance while defining for L1 we'll take the upper current I1 minus I2, and for defining L2 mutual inductance we'll be taking the current of the L1. So current in the L1 is I2 minus I3. So here we have taken I2 minus I3 and here we have taken I1 minus I2. Both are opposite as compared to the L. So this is our first loop equation. Now we'll rearrange it. In the rearrangement you should in order to simplify in a proper manner you should follow this step, so that you are not stuck and you can easily solve it. I have taken I2 on one side and I3 and I1 I have taken on the other side. Next I have divided the whole equation by I1, so that I get I2 by I1 in terms of I3 by I1. Now I am leaving this equation and then I'll discuss second loop. Now here in the second loop I can define HIE upon I3. Then the current goes here. The current because the direction of current is opposite, so I can write minus j omega L1 I2 minus I3, and the mutual inductance will be positive, plus j omega m I1 minus I2, and that will be equal to 0. Again rearranging this equation, we'll be finding I3 by I1. I have taken I3 on one side and the rest 2 on the other side, I2 by I1. In this way, dividing whole equation by I1, I get I3 by I1 in terms of I2 by I1. So now I have two equations. One is I2 by I1 in terms of I3 by I1, and second is I3 by I1 in terms of I2 by I1. These two equations I'll be using as required. Now, in order, what you first of all think about what you want to do. We have to satisfy the Barkhausen criteria first of all. So what is Barkhausen criteria? It is A beta equal to 1. So for that we require two things. One, gain. A and second is the feedback factor beta or B. So first of all we'll find gain. Now in order to find the gain we want the output voltage. So first of all we'll be finding the output voltage. So here in Hartley oscillator the output is taken across P and G. So we'll be calculating output voltage between the points P and G, and that we'll write as V0. So what will be the V0? What will V0 be? It is voltage across the inductance coil L2. So this is the value of the voltage across L2. So this I have written here, and again j omega I1 I have taken it as a common, and after rearranging I get somewhat this equation. I'll leave this equation again, and then we'll discuss the what is I1 current. Now I1 current is the current flowing through this current source, and the current source is GMVBE. So here we can easily define I1. What is I1? I1 is as defined through current source, it is minus GMVBE. Now with the knowledge of above all the equation, first of all we'll be finding gain of the amplifier. Now gain of the amplifier is capital A, and it is output voltage upon input voltage. Now input voltage will be VBE. So V0 upon VBE. Putting the value of V0 and VBE from this equation, we'll write it somewhat like this. Next, for Barkhausen criteria we also need beta. So for beta, what is beta? Beta is VF, feedback voltage upon output voltage. So first of all we are required to find the feedback voltage. Now what is feedback voltage? Feedback voltage is that voltage that is being fed to the input. So feedback voltage is either we can define through L1 or we can define it through HIE. So simply we write HIE into I3. So this is the feedback voltage, and output voltage we already know, this is the output voltage. Dividing them, we get this equation. Now we have A and we have beta. So for Barkhausen criteria we multiply both the equations. On multiplication, maximum terms cancel out and we have only these small terms, minus HIE GM I3 upon I1. Now by the knowledge of GM, we know GM is always equal to HFE upon HIE. Putting this value, we can also write minus HFE upon into I3 by I1. So this is A beta, but we still have to put the value of I3 by I1. So what is I3 by I1? This we have already calculated. We'll put this value I3 by I1 here. So I3 by I1 is somewhat this value. We'll first of all simplify it. So on simplification, what we have to do? We have to put the value of I2 by I1 from the other equation that we had calculated. We put the value of I2 by I1 so that we get somewhat this large value. On further simplification, we finally obtained this I3 by I1 is equals to L1 plus M, L2 plus M minus Mx whole upon this value. Now here X is what you should know. X is this L1 plus L2 plus 2M minus 1 upon omega square C. This is very large value, so I have termed it as X. So here, in order to simplify and write in a proper manner, I have written it in brief. Here I have used X. So wherever X is written, it is this value. So now I3 by I1 has been calculated. Now we put this value in the A beta equation. Now on placing A beta equation, we get somewhat this equation. No simplification required. We have simply put the values. Now we'll apply the Barkhausen criteria. Now according to Barkhausen criteria, A beta is real, so that in complete cycle phase difference should be 0. Now in order to make phase difference 0, the J coefficient should be 0, and the J coefficient is HIE into X into upon omega. So this will be 0. Now what is X? X is L1 plus L2 plus 2m minus 1 upon omega square C. So the whole this term should be 0. Now we know HIE is not 0 because it is associated with the transistor, and omega is the angular frequency. It is also not 0. So this term should be 0. Now if we place this term equal to 0 and simplify it, what we get, omega is equals to under root of L1 plus L2 plus 2m into C. If we want to calculate the frequency, then frequency will be omega is 2 pi f. So f is 1 upon 2 pi under root of L1 plus L2 plus 2m C. So this is the frequency of the oscillations produced in this type of Hartley oscillator. You can see the frequency depends entirely on L1, L2, M and C. So first thing we have already calculated. Now second thing in the oscillator, that is condition for sustained oscillation. For that we'll be putting X is equals to 0. Because we have discussed that J coefficient should be 0. So in A beta we'll be putting this 0 because in the whole this term HIE and omega is not 0, X is 0. So we'll put X equal to 0 and simplify again A beta term. So when we put X equals to 0 and simplify it, what we get? We get HFE L2 plus M upon L1 plus M. But we know for oscillator to excite and maintain oscillation, A beta should be greater than equal to 1. So putting this value greater than equal to 1, we can write HFE L2 plus M upon L1 plus M should be greater than equal to 1. Or cross multiplying it, we can write HFE should be greater than equal to L1 plus M upon L2 plus M. So this is the necessary condition that should be maintained in order to obtain oscillation and to maintain it. So we have here in this, we have discussed the Hartley oscillator and we have calculated the frequency of the oscillation and the necessary condition that is required to maintain the oscillations. In the next lecture, we'll discuss Colpitz's oscillator. Thank you.